Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, whatcassread. Today I'm going to bring you my spoiler-free review of Foundryside, written by Robert Jackson Bennett. Foundryside is the first of an adult fantasy series called the Founder series. In this book, we follow a young woman named Sancha. She is a thief. She has her own special abilities. She contracts her services out to different characters to steal things for them, and the story really takes off when, in the beginning, she has been tasked with stealing this object that she doesn't really know what it is, but it is worth a ton of money, and that is reason enough for her. Someone realized that object has gone missing, and begins this chase, begins this in-depth look into the world of Tavon, the magic behind the society, the class systems in the society. What it ends up turning into is a really great heist story. Sancha pulls together a team of people to get to the bottom of this larger mystery, this larger political plot that she uncovers. People are after her. It's all good things. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the world building. This book has world building in spades. We are in the city of Tavon, and there are different pockets of the city that are ruled by the merchant class. The merchant class is the group of people that have all the money. They're the people that have all the power, and they're the people that have all of the magic. In between the merchant areas, there's the slums, and that's where Sancha grows up. The people who do not find themselves to be a part of any of the merchant houses, any of the merchant families, are extremely poor, desolate. There's a lot of crime involved in this area, and there's also a really healthy black market trade, and that's how Sancha ends up making her living, is she's stealing, and she just does what she's got to do to get by. The thing that makes the merchant houses more powerful than all the rest is they hold the keys to this magical technology called scriving. Scriving, I feel like the best way that you can describe it would be coding. It was inspired by coding. What people can do, it's this written language, and it's a written set of symbols, and the kinds of combinations that you can put these symbols in will allow you to perform different kinds of magic. And the symbols are usually etched onto various inanimate objects to make them do different things, like provide security for your house, to provide secrecy, to provide transportation, like you can scribe a wheel to obey your command to go to a certain destination, and once it's there, then its job is done. So there's a lot of different uses to scribing, and the different merchant houses have different secrets, have their own different codes, have their own different keys to the codes, and they hold these secrets very, very jealously. They jealously guard these secrets. They employ lots of different people who are able to do this kind of scribing magic, and they pay them very well. But they do not allow the other merchant houses to have these kinds of keys, because that's where their main competition is for goods. And they also don't allow the general population to better themselves and obtain access to the scribing as well. So aside from that, you're gonna get the different areas of Tavon that Sancha herself lives in these slum areas, and then you're also gonna get the very rich populated areas of the different merchant houses and the merchant guilds. All of the merchant guilds are going to have their own different personalities. All of the different merchant families are going to have their own personalities. And then the people that Sancha associates herself with, some people are pro stealing these scribing secrets, and some people just want to be left alone. So let's talk about the characters. Of course, the main character that I have been talking about already is Sancha, and she is our young girl thief that, for some reason, she can understand scribed objects, and that's what makes her such a valuable thief to have. At the beginning, you meet her just kind of like your stereotypical orphan on the streets with like this really special cool power. But as the story progresses, we begin to understand more about her past, and also more about why she can understand scribed objects, because this is not something that everybody can do. There's another character in here named Gregor Dandolo. Gregor Dandolo is a lawman, and he lives not in one of the merchant houses. He lives outside of the merchant houses, and he tries to uphold the law. This is a very difficult thing for him to do, because there actually aren't any laws, and the people that live in Tavon know this, and they kind of make fun of him. They think he's just a waste of time. He's trying to fight a losing battle, but he has his own past with the merchant houses. He is connected to them, and that's why he just doesn't care what people have to say about his chosen path to be this lawman. He does eventually become a part of Sancha's crew. The reasons why they come together to solve this mystery all have to do with the scribing and the merchant houses and their different relationships with the scribing objects. There's a third character that I feel I must bring up, and that is Clef. Clef is actually a magical scribed key, and he becomes a companion to our two main characters as well. And of course, because Sancha has the ability to hear and understand scribed objects, she can hear and understand Clef. Again, the merchant houses are trying to keep these scribing secrets amongst themselves, but with a magical key like Clef, those secrets are getting out, and Sancha is learning all about them. He has his own personality, even though he is a key. So that is also something vastly different among the scribed objects. Most of them don't have a personality. They have sentience, but they don't have a personality. So that also tells us that Clef is something completely different than just your average scribed object. Overall, I did rate this book 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like this book has a really great magic system, a really good setup, a really good plot line. The ending of this book, when I initially read it, I was like, okay, well, I felt like that storyline was complete. We got our heist story out of the way. We got to learn more about this cool new magic system, and we got to meet this really great set of characters, but there was nothing like pulling me in to the next book in the series. However, you will see my most anticipated releases of 2020 video coming out, and Shorefall, the second book, has been announced. It's coming out in April, and when I read that, I was like, oh, you know what? I do have an interest in that next book, and that all has to do with the history that Sancha learns about herself. It all has to do with the history that Clef learns, and it's transformed this story from being very like it wasn't one-dimensional, but very much like in this closed circle. And now it's expanded it into a much larger scale story with the histories that we began learning toward the end of this book. So that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, because like as exciting as it was, as cool as the magic system was, I didn't feel like there was like anything like big picture about this story until I learned about the upcoming books. So I wish that we had spent a little bit more time on expanding the world just a touch, but I look forward to the next installment nonetheless. Alright, let me know what you thought of Foundryside down in the comment section below. Have you read it? Do you have any plans on beginning it? Or have you read it and are excited for Shorefall? Let me know what you think. You can also follow me on my social media if you want. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's at whatcassread, the same as this channel, so it should be super easy for you to find. And of course, my Goodreads link is always listed down below for you if that is your preferred platform of choice. And you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.